decades, we've been sold a narrative, a tale of back-and-forth skirmishes, rockets fired in retaliation, real estate disputes, or even a centuries-old religious feud. But the truth is much deeper than that. There's a lot more to the story of Palestine than we've been told, and it's a story we all need to understand. So how did we get here? How did this struggle unfold? Let's take it back to the early 1900s, when the Ottoman Empire still ruled over Palestine, and one man made a decision that would echo through history. The year is 1901, and the Ottoman Empire is under the rule of Sultan Abdul Hamid II. The Zionist movement, led by Theodor Herzl, is gaining momentum in Europe. Herzl, a prominent figure of the Zionist cause and founder of the Zionist organization, wanted to secure a Jewish homeland in Palestine. But there was one major obstacle: the land he wanted was under Ottoman control. Herzl approached Sultan Abdul Hamid with an offer. He promised to pay off the empire's enormous debts in exchange for allowing Jewish settlers to establish a state in Palestine. Herzl believed that with enough money, the Sultan would agree to the plan, but Sultan Abdul Hamid refused. In fact, his response was clear and decisive. "I cannot sell even an inch of land, for it does not belong to me but to the Islamic nation." He saw the idea of handing over Palestine to the Zionists as a betrayal of the Muslim Ummah and the legacy of his ancestors who had ruled over the land for centuries. Herzl left empty-handed, but the Zionist movement was far from giving up. As the 20th century unfolded, so did the ambitions of the Zionists. Fast forward to 1914, and the world is engulfed in the First World War. The Ottoman Empire, weakened and declining, had joined the war on the side of the Central Powers. The empire was struggling to maintain control over its vast territories, including Palestine. Then, in 1916, the British and French saw an opportunity. Behind closed doors, they crafted the infamous Sykes-Picot Agreement, which divided the Ottoman lands between the French and British. According to this secret deal, Palestine would fall under British control. But the story doesn't end there. In 1917, the British took a bold step that would change the fate of Palestine forever. They issued the Balfour Declaration, a letter from the British Foreign Secretary, Arthur Balfour, to the Zionist leader, Lord Rothschild. In it, Balfour promised to support the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This declaration was a turning point. It gave the Zionist movement the green light to pursue their dream of a Jewish state, but at the cost of the Palestinian people, who made up over 90% of the population. When World War I ended in 1918, the Ottoman Empire was dismantled and Palestine came under British control. What followed was a period of increasing Jewish immigration to Palestine, supported by the British Mandate. Between 1920 and 1935, tens of thousands of Jews from Europe arrived in Palestine, and tensions between the Jewish settlers and the native Palestinians began to rise. Palestinians were alarmed. They protested, fearing that their land was being taken from them. They could see what was happening, but the British authorities ignored their pleas. The situation continued to escalate, and in the 1930s, violence erupted. Palestinians revolted against the British mandate, demanding an end to the mass immigration and the loss of their homeland. But the British response was brutal. The Palestinian uprisings were crushed, and the Zionist movement continued to grow stronger. The Nakba wasn't just an isolated event. It was the beginning of decades of suffering for the Palestinian people. Those who remained in Palestine found themselves living under Israeli military occupation. Checkpoints, home demolitions, and military raids became part of daily life. For the Palestinians, the fight for their homeland was far from over. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israel occupied the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza, territories that are still under Israeli control today. This occupation has been condemned by the international community, but little has been done to resolve the situation. Today, the Palestinian struggle continues. Millions of Palestinians live as refugees, either in exile or under occupation. Their fight for freedom, justice, and the right to return to their homes is ongoing. The story of Palestine is one of a people who have been oppressed, who had their land taken from them, and who have been fighting for their survival for the last century. The events of the past shape the reality of today, and understanding this history is crucial if we are ever to find a path forward. Because if we don't remember our history, we risk repeating it again and again. And Allah knows we don't need more suffering and destruction in another part of the world. May Allah lift the pain and struggles of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Ameen. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum.